right, welcome to Tuesday's Top Tips. I am Alicia Ault, founder of Level Up Score, and I'm your host for Tuesday Top Tips. So thank you for being here. A topic for discussion is why your follow-ups aren't working. So why aren't they working? And I'm going to give you the one thing you can do today, because I love giving the things you can do today that can change how you do your follow-ups and get better responses. So if you're feeling like you're being ghosted on your follow-ups, maybe I might have a solution for you, and I'd love to dive into that with you. So again, welcome everybody to Tuesday's Top Tips. Let's go ahead and jump into my slides here. And I just realized that I'm on slide 14 of 14 of 14, and I need to be on slide 1. So there we go. All right. So again, my name is Alicia Ault. I am so excited to be here at Tuesday Top Tips. You know, I really love these trainings for multiple reasons. We get to challenge some of our assumptions about our business for those of you who are credit professionals. But follow-ups, let's think about that for a second. How many of you have been ghosted on your follow-ups? You're sending emails like, I'm just checking in. I was following up. And you're not getting responses back. Maybe there's a reason for that. So maybe, just maybe, if you think about it, is there a situation where you're sending those and you're not getting responses back, and then you're going to send another follow-up and you're going to kind of keep doing that, but you're still not getting the responses back? Maybe there's a chance that the consumer's seeing it in a different way than you actually meant it. And so it's about changing your language. We're going to talk about a lot of things like that today, but maybe they're thinking it as you're trying to just sell them on something. And that's oftentimes when someone sees the thing like checking in or following up, they're like, oh man, it's like work for them. It's like, this person's trying to sell me something I'm not ready to be sold to right now, right? For whatever reason that's in their life. And so, and of course, people in general don't like to be sold to. So if we kind of think about that, reverse engineer things, like Russell Brunson, I think, is fabulous at doing this. He talks all the time about how he'll take a situation of why he purchased something and reverse engineer it of what, I purchased something. Why did I do that? What caused me to purchase this thing? And so as he reverse engineered that, he was able to come up with, the value stacking and all kinds of different tips and resources. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, get his books. He's got several of them. They're all fabulous, but they will help you in this pursuit of sales. Okay. But we're going to talk a lot about the follow-up process today. So let me go ahead and move on to my next screen here. Title of this is Why Your Follow-Up Isn't Working. And the one change that builds trust, creates clients, and earns referrals. I'm going to teach you the one change you could do today. You can start today. Actually, I'm going to challenge you at the end exactly what I'd like you to do today. So stay with me so you can see this. But there's some things that we need to check out before I give you the one thing, because it's going to be important that you understand a few things before I give you the one thing. Okay, fair? So stay with me so you can get all this information. Note that the first thing I'd like you to make note of is that when people feel pressured, they naturally will withdraw back. Okay. And so if you're using those follow-up tactics, like I'm following up, I'm checking in, they're naturally going to pull back. Okay. So how do we bring someone forward rather than chasing them and then pulling them back? So that's really the essence of what I wanted to show you. So again, welcome to Tuesday's Top Tips. One reason that I absolutely love these trainings is because we get to challenge our old assumptions about how we should do business, our old thinking. So our industry has been taught, and it heavily focuses on fixing credit. Okay. But consumers aren't waking up wanting to fix their credit. They're waking up to buy the home, to buy the car, to get the business funding, to open up opportunities, and most importantly, to make their future better, right? Make the future better for themselves, for their family, whatever that is that's driving them. It's not fixing their credit, okay? But that's kind of how we came into this industry and how we heavily focus on this idea of credit fixing or credit fixers, okay? So I want to challenge that with you guys today, because it's a very different conversation when a consumer wants to buy a home, okay? Wants to buy a car, wants to open up opportunities for themselves and their future and their family and having a better future. It's a different conversation. So if we can understand that, then we can change the language that we use, which is going to allow people to be attracted to us rather than us chasing them. So today we're going to talk about how your follow-up can align with what people actually want instead of what you think they need. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. Again, welcome. So glad that you're here. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is I believe our industry is under a new identity. So we're actually evolving as an industry. We're not just credit professionals. We're not just credit repair organizations. We're not just consultants. We're not just credit coaches. We're not just all of these things. We're actually a lot more than that. And so we are what I call borrower readiness partners. And so I'll tell you the difference, the biggest difference. If we were to say we are a credit repair organization or we're a credit consultant, all these things, credit repair companies focus on fixing yesterday's problems. Okay. What I would like to see us all become is borrower readiness partners. So what's the difference between a borrower readiness partner and a credit consultant or a credit fixer or credit repair organization? The difference is a borrower readiness partner prepares someone for tomorrow. Okay, so let me say that again. A credit repair professional fixes yesterday's problems. A borrower readiness partner prepares people for tomorrow. That's a big difference in conversation. It's a big difference in language and speaking to consumers. So I want you to get this because this is going to bring together everything that I'm going to teach you today on the one thing you can do to change your follow-ups to stop getting ghosted. Okay. But we got to understand this because we have to change the language. We help people become ready for home ownership. This is what borrower readiness partners do. We help people get ready for home ownership. We help them get ready for financing. We help them with opportunities. We help them to create a better future, a future they've been dreaming of. That's what borrower readiness partners do. Not fixing yesterday. Is fixing yesterday part of the process? Yes, but if that's our primary heavy focus, we miss the point. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to think about here. So when your identity changes, your conversations will naturally change. They just will. And that's why it's important that you change your identity. So instead of asking things like, did you sign up yet? You start asking, how's your home buyer goal coming along? Right? How is your home buyer goal coming along? Those would be a question that you might ask. Instead of asking, are you ready to get started? You might ask, what's the biggest thing standing between you and your goal right now? So different questions, different language, right? And that's a completely different experience for your client as well. Okay, so does that make sense? The borrower readiness versus the credit fixer. Credit repair fixes the problems of yesterday. Borrower readiness partners prepare someone for tomorrow. I love that. There's a nice ring to that, right? But it's also very, very true. All right. So let me get to, I got my notes here so I can make sure I stay on track here. Oh, I love this. Our next slide here. So sales isn't about persuasion. Sales is not equal to pressure. And a lot of times when people got into the business, and this has been, we think of the car salesman type personality, those types of things. We think if we put enough pressure on them, or AKA, I like to say, tell them all their problems, then that's going to get them to purchase. And we do that all the time. And I think sometimes we do it unknowingly. So we might have a free consultation that we're doing with consumers. And as we're going down their credit report, we're showing them all the problems that they have. Okay. But sales is actually equal to building trust. So the more trust you build, the more you can sell. And so trust actually is created, that opening door of trust is likability. Okay. So people like to work with people that make them feel good. If you go in a sales pressure, giving them their problems and how you're going to fix their problems, when you're doing that, you're actually not making them feel good. You're doing the opposite. You're trying to make them feel bad, thinking that's going to help sell the deal to help them feel better. But people actually buy from people who start off making you feel good about yourself, right? So if I were to call you today and talk to you and be like, hey, Jen, man, you are not doing this thing right. You're spending hours and hours on credit reviews. Why aren't you using Level Up Score yet? I can go into that, maybe making her feel bad. Obviously, defenses come up. Like, what do you mean? I'm good. I do what I do, whatever. Or I can go to Jen and say, hey, Jen, you're doing a great job. I see you out there. Like, you're killing it. You're helping so many people. I'm excited to be a friend with you, that you're doing things the right way. Could we open a conversation up? Maybe we can make it easier and faster for you. Different conversation, right? I made her, Jen, feel good. So we'll put that in perspective, like a client seeking credit help. Client comes in, they want to buy a home. And instead of going down the credit report and saying, oh, these are all the problems that you have, man, you messed up here, you got this charge off, we got to fix that, we got to do this, we got to do that. Instead of doing that, I could say, hey, I feel you. I understand where you're at, and I understand that can be painful. What if I were able to help you and I have a journey for you? And at the end of the journey, you get to your goal of buying a home. How would that make you feel? Right? You're doing a great job, Dad. I know this life is hard, but you're doing a great job. How would it feel if I give you a journey that could help you get to that goal? How would that make you feel? So do you see the difference in the conversation? Opposed to like a tactful where they have their defenses up, like, oh man, she just told me I was horrible, right? To, hey, you're doing a good job, Dad. I know this is hard, right? So hopefully that makes sense. We want to help build trust through likability. So instead of asking yourself, how can I make more sales? What I'd like to see you ask yourself is, how can I build more trust? Because trust is equal to sales. Trust is equal to sales, not pressure. Okay. All right. This is what I call my relationship formula, and I did not make this up on my own. So first of all, my husband is a luxury real estate agent, and he was told to read a book when he first got into real estate called Ninja Selling. And because I'm also a big time reader, I like to read at least one book a week. I was like, I want to read that book too. So I read his book. And I got very curious. And then he took a course. You can take a course in this. And guys, actually, all of you, I would search Ninja Selling, and it's a real estate course, but I would recommend that each and every one of you take that course. I think it's like $1,500 to do an in-person course. I promise you that you're not real estate, but it will help you. But the principles I'm going to give you today come from that, okay? Amongst a lot of other books that I've read that all come back together right here with what I call the relationship formula, okay? So relationships start with this likability. So when people like you, I'm gonna give you a trick to help people like you, but the likability comes first, and then the trust comes. And then from trust, we build relationships, and from relationships, we get results. So in results, what I mean by that, and we're talking about real estate agents, we're talking about they're getting real estate transactions out of that. Maybe the person comes to them to buy the house or sell the home, right? For us as credit professionals, it would be someone signing up for our credit program, right? To help them reach a specific goal. So likability, trust, relationships, and results. So everything I'm talking about is going to follow this, my relationship formula. And then we're going to take that and use that to do our follow-up. So we're going to talk about that, okay? So that's coming. The one change you're going to make in your follow-ups that I believe is going to get you more business. You're going to stop chasing clients. They're going to actually be attracted to you and come to you. Okay, so what makes someone likable? Pretty easy. Now remember, likability equals to trust. So what makes someone likable? They listen. They care. They remember. And if you're taking notes, please take notes. Actually, if you're watching this right now, if you could go in the comments and type in the comments, remember. Because this is the most important one in my personal experience, remember. Encourage and celebrate. Okay, so let's dive into each one of these to kind of get an idea. So listen, we all understand that, right? We're on a conversation. Instead of us talking about what we do and how great we are, what if we asked an open-ended question like, what is your goal? And we listened to hear their answer. What if the next thing we ask them is, why is that so important to you? What if the next question we asked is, how would that feel if you got to that goal in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever you think out the process is going to take for them to get there? And we just listened. People often aren't listened to, and they get very surprised when they are. So what if we stopped and listened first? That's going to create likability, right? Instant likability, almost like this one here. People are not, they're surprised. What if you actually care? What if you're really curious? Another word for care, I think, is curious. What if I'm really curious about what they want? They tell me, my goal is to buy a house. And I say, why? Why is that so important to you? And I'll let them dive into that and why. And I really show that I care and I want to be there to help them get to their goal, right? And then remember, and I love remember, if I'm doing a great job listening and I'm doing a great job being curious and caring, then there's some things that they're going to say to me that I should take note of, either mentally, but you should all have a CRM. You should be typing notes after the call at the very least, or writing a note and putting it in your CRM, because you won't remember everything in your brain, put on paper, but remembering things about them. I talked to a prospect the other day and she had just got braces. So the next time I talk to her, I'm like, hey, how's that feeling? That hurt still? How are you feeling? And she was like, whoa, you remembered me. You remembered what I talked about. And that makes people feel very, very special. So remember them. Remember things about them. Okay. Remember their birthday, right? Just little things. It's really little things. Encourage them. So this would be for prospects, but also clients. So if you think about, you have a client and they're struggling with something, they're struggling with something. Maybe financially they're struggling. You can encourage them. Like, I know your goal is so big and I know it's not always going to be easy, but you're doing it. You're doing it and I'm here for you. Encouraging, right? And then obviously celebrate the big ones, the small ones, all of them. Celebrate their wins, right? So that's important. So, or, maybe they had a new baby born in their household. They got the house through the process, celebrating those things, helping them feel seen. Most importantly, feel seen. That's the whole point of this. So this is the relationship formula. What we want to do is become more likable. Thus, we're going to build trust. Okay. All right. I hope that helps you. We're going to dive into this a little bit more. And this is what I call the secret of becoming likable. I do this with a lot of you. If you go on to my strategy calls, I'll play with you with this. But you want to, it's called the Benjamin Franklin effect. The idea is that you invite them to take one small step or ask one small favor. Them doing a favor for you or engaging with you makes you more likable, believe it or not. So instead of we always think that if I give something to you, I gave you a gift, that you're instantly going to like me better. But actually, if you give me a gift, you're going to like me better. So people don't naturally think that way. So we invite them to do a small step or do a small favor for us. So for instance, we might say, hey, reply back to this email. Let me know what month you're looking to buy. Right? Or, hey, can you see that dream home? I really am curious of what your dream home looks like. Watch this 1-minute video and tell me what stood out. Hey, would you mind, if you got value out of this call today, would you mind giving me a Google review? Here's a link. Right? Which goal is most important for you right now? There's all kinds of little things we can do to help engage them. That's going to help them like us more. But I like having them do some small little favor for you to essentially help them like you more. So kind of a cool thing, but participation creates ownership, and that's why. So when they do something, they participate, they have ownership in that, and they're like, that's Alicia. I did a Google review for her, right? Or whatever that might be. They're going to create ownership between the relationship between you and them, which is a really cool thing to do. And it's a gift to give not only them, but yourself, right? And you can do the same thing to create more likability with them and do something for them, the value that you bring them, which is also a very important part of this process. Okay. So why does the words like just checking in, why don't they work? They don't work because, well, first of all, I think it's the biggest mistake we make in follow-ups, just checking in, following up with you. Because the second someone reads that, they automatically think, oh, this person's trying to sell me something. I'm not ready for that right now. Maybe they're at work and they're exhausted, or they can't even continue to read the message. They know they can't handle the situation with you. Maybe they just got home from work. They see your message, checking in, and they got the kids coming after them. They're hungry for dinner. Da, 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 da. They're going to ignore the email entirely because they're not ready for you to sell to them right now. They're tired. They're exhausted. Whatever the thing might be, but they automatically single that, hey, you're trying to sell to me. Now, I want you to test me on this. Go in your email and see if you've received from any salesperson an email that says checking in and how you feel as soon as you see that. Test yourself on it. Or following up, test yourself on it. Okay. I can guarantee you that you're going to feel a certain way that is not necessarily helpful for that person's sales process. Okay. So how can you change it? This is the one change you can do today, right now. And then I'm going to give you a challenge later on in this video of exactly what I would challenge you to do on an everyday basis. So you want to share something with them, something of value. So instead of I'm following up or I'm checking in, you might say, hey, Jen, I was thinking about you today. I know your goal is to buy a home, and I just saw mortgage interest rates just reduced, and I thought this might be interesting to you. Here's an article. Or I love this. My husband, obviously, I told you he's a luxury real estate agent. So if a client who's out of state comes and they want to purchase a home in, let's say, Sarasota, he might mail them a map of Sarasota, like a cool map. And he says, hey, I was just thinking about you today, and I know you're looking to purchase a home here in Sarasota. I thought it might be really interesting to see kind of a map of Sarasota and all the things that are available here, right? Or an events page, or, you know, the list goes on and on. So us as professionals, we can give them a budgeting idea, right? Hey, I know you're looking to buy a home, and I know that having some money for down payment is probably going to be essential in that process. Here's some ideas on how you can save money through budgeting, right? All kinds of little things. It doesn't have to be anything big, but like, for instance, if I'm on a call and someone tells me, hey, Allie, you know, I was just at my daughter's wedding, and I make note of that. The next time I talk to them, I say, hey, I was just thinking about you. You were just at your daughter's wedding. I wonder if your daughter might like this article about being a new spouse. I don't know. I'm making stuff up here, but the idea is that you remember the conversations that you've had with them, and you give them something of value. It's easy, very easy to do it this method if you have a niche. So for me, my niche is first-time home buyers. So that means everybody who's coming into my ecosystem wants to buy their first home. So it's really easy for me to come back and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you today, and I know you're wanting to buy your first home. Here's a cool article on the things you should know before you buy your first home, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can do it, but this is how you can actually get people from ghosting you to actually chasing you. They're wanting to get more information from you. They're going to say thank you, right? And they're ultimately will become a client of yours, as well as be a really great referral source. So here's the quote that I want you to remember. People don't ignore value. They ignore pressure. When they sense there's pressure and they're going to be sold to, I'm checking in, I'm following up, they'll very honestly ignore you. Not even because they don't need your services or don't want your services. That's, quite frankly, I believe, totally false. They do need your service. They do want your service, but they don't want to be sold to. They want to like you. They want to trust you before they buy from you. And some cultures, more so than the American cultures, are really built on this, right? This relationship building. But we all are. We all want to feel good about the person that we're working with. We want to have we want to have some type of connection with them. We certainly want to trust them, especially if we're handing over money, right? We're handing over our time, our money, maybe personal information. So we want to trust them. And how do we build trust? Likability. That's how it starts, right? Providing things of value to them. So instead of sending a follow-up email today to anyone that you need to follow up with, please go into your CRM, look at some notes about what you've had conversations about, look them up on social media. I do that. If I don't have any conversations, I'm cold calling, I'm looking them up on social media to get to know who they are so that I have something of value to present to them. Present them with something of value. Now, if we think about Level Up Score, it was always built around this idea. Level Up Score isn't just an action plan. It's not just a report. It's a conversation starter. It's a coaching guide. It's a personalized roadmap. It's the thing of value, right? So that's why I teach, give this to them. Do the free consultation. They sign up for credit monitoring. Please make them pay for credit monitoring. Give this to them, and you instantly created trust and likability. You gave up immense value, and now you can come back in and say, hey, I can help you with this plan, right? So that's a whole nother thing. Wednesday, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's Wednesday, yes. This is Tuesday. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be teaching class. I talk about it. It's like online, mastering online consultations, but it's more than that. I'm going to talk about my 5-minute per client per month process that I can teach you. You can have a life, make money, and help a lot of people. Maybe even provide them with more value than you are today in less time. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. So be on that call. It's a really important call. I'll give you the QR code to that here at the end. The Level Up Score was built with this idea of building relationships and giving extreme value, right? All right, so let's look at this next part. This is my challenge to you. I call it the 5-5-5 Borrower Readiness Routine. Again, I got a lot of these principles from Ninja Selling. Okay, so this is not me making it up on my own. But reach out to 5 people every single day. Share 5 pieces of value, not follow-ups, not a sales tactic, but 5 pieces of value, and start 5 genuine conversations. That would be my challenge for you, something you can do every single day. And I think that you'll find that this is going to help you build relationships faster, AKA clients. And if you're struggling in that area, maybe this is the missing piece. So I call it the 5-by-5-by-5 Borrower Readiness Routine. Reach out to 5 people, share 5 pieces of value, and start 5 genuine conversations. Personalized pieces of value, by the way. Okay? Not everybody gets the same thing, right? Like I talked about earlier, the prospect that I talked to who just got braces. I'm not going to be talking about the same thing to her that I did with another person who told me a different story, right? It's remembering those things that they talked about and bringing those back. Okay? So 5 pieces of value. All right. Next, this is the challenge. So tomorrow morning, I'm challenging you to send a simple message to 5 people. Reach out to 5 people and give them 5 pieces of value so you can start 5 genuine conversations. And also ask for 1 small step or 1 small favor from them. And I'm going to prove it to you right now how I do it. I'm going to give that to you. But 5 people, 5 pieces of value, 5 genuine conversations, genuine, you're remembering, you're listening, you're caring, remember all those things about being likable, and then ask for 1 next step for them to do or 1 small favor from them. Okay? So if you forgot what those are, rewind this play. When it becomes a replay, rewind it, go back to it. It's very valuable. I set the stage first, and then I gave you the 1 small change that you can make. So go back to making sure you understand where I set the stage. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, remember, people don't buy credit repair. People don't buy higher credit scores. They buy confidence. They buy clarity. They buy hope. They buy hope. Most importantly, they buy a guide they trust to help them have a better future. So tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, I am doing a strategy class. I do it every Monday at 1 p.m., every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Every strategy call is different. You direct the strategy call with me. On that call, you let me know what you would like to gain from that call on helping to grow and scale your business. But we're also going to dive into this mastering online consultations. Now, I do have a very in-depth class that I teach on mastering online consultations. I encourage each and every one of you guys to take it. Everybody who has taken the Mastering Online Consultations class has come back to me and has raved about it. I promise you, I'm not steering you wrong, but if you were to take that class and then meet me on Wednesday at 5 p.m., you're going to understand these principles and we're going to apply them. Applying, learning, right? Getting information, part of the game. Applying is the most important part, and I'll help you apply that on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, amongst whatever else we talk about. You know, we'll have a big group of people there, I'm sure, wanting some different information to help grow and scale their business. So you're welcome to be there. So that is, again, that's Wednesday. I'm going to make this screen big for you so you can scan that QR code if you need to register for that Wednesday class. Looking forward to seeing all of you there. I think we'll have a great time. The next thing, here's my small favor. Here's the Benjamin Franklin theory, right? So I would like to ask you a favor. If this Tuesday Top Tip has provided value to you, I would love and be honored if you would scan this QR code and give me a Google review. Now, for those of you who don't know me and haven't been on a strategy call, I only like 5-star Google reviews. So in the event you scan that QR code and I have not provided 5-star level service or value to you on this call, please send me an email at support@levelupscore.com and let me know that and help me figure out how I can earn a 5-star Google review from you. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here for Tuesday's Top Tip. Have an amazing day, and I hope this brought a lot of value to you. And please follow us. Make sure you put this on your calendar so I can see you every Tuesday for a Tuesday Top Tip. Thank you, and have an amazing day.